We'll start off with the big win for Mount St. Mary's. They beat American 83-72. Dola Adebayo, Jetty Cordia each scored 22 points. And right now, Mount St. Mary's is riding high, feeling great, on a plane, and then they realize they got to play against Duke Friday at 2:40 Eastern. You may ask, what is that point spread? I said that I thought Auburn would have the highest point spread in the NCAA tournament in round one. I was wrong. Duke minus 32.5 against Mount St. Mary's Friday at 2:40 Eastern. All right, so the main course last night of the first four in had a little bit of a surprise, maybe, depending on how you looked at it, but Texas fell to Xavier last night, and Marcus Foster scored 22 points. The Musketeers were down 13 in the first half. They still trailed by 10 with 16 minutes left. Was that a bad bet? Bad beat? I don't know. Depends on how you see it. Xavier has earned the right to now play against Illinois, and they got some time. They're playing Friday night at 9:45 Eastern, where the Illini are 3.5-point favorites. Meanwhile, McNeese's Will Wade has reached an agreement to become the next head coach at NC State. Sources told ESPN he's won 57 games over the last couple of seasons. How will this affect the game today? Well, 3:15 Eastern, Clemson takes on McNeese. Line open Clemson minus 6.5. It has moved to 7.5. So some money coming in on the Tigers. Clemson's also finalizing a new 6-year deal with their head coach, Brad Brownell, that will keep him at the school through 2031. He led Clemson to the Elite Eight last year. And naturally, they play this afternoon, so maybe they'll get this done before then. We will see. We'll be off the air by then. Meanwhile, let's go through the matchups today, the updated point spreads according to the FanDuel Sportsbook. First game on the board today. Are you ready? 12:15 Eastern in Lexington. We've got Louisville taking on Creighton. Kind of a home game there, just a couple of hour ride to go see Louisville if you wanted to do that living in Kentucky. Meanwhile, Purdue will take on High Point. That's the next game at 12:40 Eastern in Providence, Rhode Island. The Boilermakers are 7.5-point favorites. Wisconsin, 16.5 against Montana at 1:30 Eastern in Denver. Houston, 28-point favorites against SIU, Edwardsville, and Wichita. Auburn, 31 against Alabama. There's the Clemson-McNeese State matchup, 7.5 points. BYU, VCU, very good matchup there at 4:05 Eastern. And then Gonzaga takes on Georgia later today at 4:15 Eastern. Also, other games today, Tennessee takes on Wofford. Kansas against Arkansas. Kansas 4.5-point favorites. Texas A&M against Yale. That could be an upset special, a lot of people say. Same with Missouri Drake at 7:35. UCLA, Utah State. UCLA 5.5-point favorites. Luke, our director, will be watching the Johnnies. St. John's 18.5-point favorites tonight in Providence against Omaha. Michigan, UC San Diego tonight at 10. And then if you're going to stay up late into the night tonight to watch college basketball, you'll be watching Texas Tech against UNC Wilmington in Wichita. The favorite to win the national championship this season are the Duke Blue Devils. That's where it's going to go off at plus 280 over on the FanDuel Sportsbook. The Gators are right there at plus 360, Auburn plus 550, and the Houston Cougars, the other number one seed, 6-1. We've seen crazy teams win championships before, folks. So we'll see if any of those long shots end up coming in. In the NBA, there is a team that knows close games at the end of games and wild finishes. That team is the Indiana Pacers lately. They came back from an 11-point deficit in the final 6 minutes, and the Pacers have now won 4 of their last 5 games. They do lead Milwaukee by 1 game for the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, which is huge because they would get some home games in the NBA playoffs. The Pistons late beat the Miami Heat for the Heat's 9th straight loss. Cade Cunningham hit a long 3-pointer with less than a second left. Detroit's having a great season. Miami, needless to say, is not. Here is head coach J.B. Bickerstaff on the big play from Cade Cunningham, and Cunningham himself talked about the game-winning shot.
I mean, you just got to get him the ball. Thing about old Doug Collins clip, just get him the ball and get out the way, right? But you try to get the ball in his hands, occupy the guys around him, and you know that Cade's going to be able to get his shot off. Like, he's got the size, he's got the skill. He's going to get his look. We told him to go win the game, and he went and got it done.
Yeah, I mean, just go get one, find a way. I guess that's the main thing. It's something I love to do, and to have the trust by your team to, be put in that situation and go win the game like that, it's a blessing. So, I try to make the most out of it, and, all glory to God.
Home cooking, meanwhile, is working for the Lakers. Not a great road trip. They come back home. They win again, although it was against the Nuggets. But let's also Keep in mind, it did not have Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. They both missed that game, 120-108. Luka Doncic had 31 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and he also had 21 in the first quarter. But it seems like, according to their head coach, J.J. Redick, home cooking has been the key to success lately for L.A.
We would all love to have home court advantage. It would be nice. And our group has been awesome at home so far. They have. But again, you gotta play the next game, and you gotta win the game in front of you. And then I've just seen it too many times. The basketball gods, start messing around with things. The basketball gods, they will punish you.
I mean, you just feel the energy in the crowd. Some crazy shots that I can hit. So when I hit one of those, I know the crowd goes crazy and just give energy. And I don't think just for me, and for the whole team.
I think right now the Lakers are playing some of their best basketball, but only at home. It'll be interesting to see if they get any home court in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Portland Trailblazers took them like 5 months to play their best basketball. They won their third straight. They beat the Grizzlies 115-99. The Knicks fall to the Spurs 120-105. The Thunder beat the 76ers 133-100. And they were missing SGA, Lou Dort, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Jalen Williams. How about that? DeMar DeRozan and the Kings take out the Cavs in a rare win. And maybe the biggest NBA story of the day is it looks like the Boston Celtics are going to be sold. Bill Chisholm, the managing partner at Symphony Technology, has agreed to purchase the Celtics from the Grusbeck family for $6.1 billion. That's the largest sale number for a sports franchise in North America, if it ends up going through. Danielle Hunter and the Texans have agreed on a 1-year contract in the remaining players that are left in free agency. Cam Robinson also signed a 1-year deal with the Texans. Remember, Laramie Tunsil no longer there. The Dolphins have signed Willie Gay to a 1-year contract. The Bears have signed Devin Duvernay away from the Ravens to a 1-year contract, and we could potentially see some new rules in the National Football League. The Detroit Lions submitted a rule change proposal where wildcard teams with better records than division winners get better playoff seeds. The other rule that's potentially in play is, of course, the tush push, which right now the Packers are pushing to not have. But the Eagles have proposed their own new rule, which is the NFL's regular season overtime is the same as the postseason, meaning that both teams get an opportunity to possess the ball no matter what happens, and overtime would be 15 minutes. That's the latest in the NFL. Been a quiet day in baseball. Spring training games start at 1 p.m. Eastern. Opening day, folks, 1 week from today.